Okay, so this is going to be part two. And in part one, that's kind of a really good broad introduction. In this part two, I'm going to hone in a little bit more, focus a little bit more on our own personal solutions, individual shift in consciousness. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So let's start doing things differently. Let's upgrade how we respond to some of these situations. I talked about being healthy, mind, body, and spirit. So, a lot of people want us to react to their aggression. A lot of women don't understand, perhaps, how some men treat other men. A woman could look at a guy and go, he's handsome, he's attractive. I would never think this and that and the other. Whereas the male counterpart, to say her same genetics, may want to kill that same male. He may not know why. It may be autopilot because of some sort of ancestral programming of destroy, invade, put head on stick, ooga booga. And, to be blunt, honest with you, I think that's exactly what's going on. When people stare too long, and who knows what is the motivation for wanting to start the aggression. Some people are they're lost. I want people to understand you don't have to return their energy. There's a lot of men running around, and I feel like I need to be warning these men. A lot of fights have taken place over the years. There was the martial arts fad. There was the 1970s and 80s, and my old friend in Portland told me all kinds of stories of street fights he was involved in. Those were different times. Today, you have a bunch of punks running around, not as lethal as fighters, but they're a lot more violent. This is kind of a sicker generation, which does reflect the sign of the times. Therefore, drum roll, please. The core of this part two is reminding people you don't have to tango with some of these individuals. And you need to know how to prevent some of these things from turning really sour. There's a lot of people out there that are suicidal. So it's not just suicide by cop. It's people getting in fights with other people that will fuck them up. Subconsciously, they're putting themselves in a situation for someone to fuck them up. They're teaching themselves a lesson. The reality is, in certain situations, you could be charged with assault and have a whole world of legal problems if you fuck somebody up. Especially when it comes to it looking a certain way. Maybe you had to hit the person first because they were running at you, but you hit them first. You see, there's certain things where logistically you do need to hit them first before they fuck you up. That's how it works. However, legally, that could put somebody in the wrong. So you got to pick your shots. You got to understand there are people out there. There's a whole world of young men out there that have no sense of self-control, no sense of self-worth, and women as well. So they will needlessly involve themselves in conflict with others, and because they're lacking in certain things, certain pleasures in life, there's another pleasure that comes from the adrenaline that's pumped through their body when they get into a fight or they cause a scene and they become a drama king or drama queen. Go back and look at those videos by Mike Bluehair of FTP Portland. It's not just cop watching. You're looking at the downfall of society, Sodom and Gomorrah. His coverage of the nightclub scene in Portland, Oregon, Old Town Chinatown. I've talked about that debauchery of darkness, that interdimensional portal of evil, past, present, and future, of men and women being kidnapped and used as sex slaves, past, present, and future. You can learn more about that in my Real Portlandia episode. So, a lot of people go through life with this innocence and not really realizing how many people are this dysfunctional and why. They're in denial about where society is, or behind some other ideology, perhaps that things are getting better or people are becoming civilized. Not that the society that we actually live in is driving some of them to the brink of insanity. So holding your own space is a positive thing. There are certain supposed metaphysical teachers that have talked about, oh, don't just become one with all energy. As if there's some sort of fear in that. No, there's strength in that. There's strength in being in your own physical space and creating a boundary. Okay, this is my boundary. Okay, I'm not letting this stuff into this temple that I'm reinforcing with my thoughts, with my will, because you have that right, you have that power. And the more you do it, and the more you exercise that in your daily life, the stronger your field is going to be. And the stronger the protection over your own space and your own psyche is going to be. So when we go into town and we go and you experience these things, you know, if you really enhance your intuition, you might find that attacks are coming at you because of the development that you're going through and the happiness that you have basically created for yourself. Your own pleasure from, you know, being in nature and traveling and, you know, looking at the river, and even if you have nothing, your ability to smile and actually, you know, be childlike and still have your imagination and creativity and not be completely destroyed by this world, but to actually blossom. You know, like destroy the ugly duckling spiritually, that is, to bloom as a soul and a spirit. The evil entities that want to keep mankind and womankind enslaved to this planet don't want to see that. And so, like the Agent Smith in the Matrix, if you're truly on the path and accessing higher levels of knowledge, you see that Agent Smith interference, archonic interference, zap into this Matrix, Sauron style, to try to cause sabotage into your life. This is like spiritual kung fu. And, you know, like soft styles that deflect the attack instead of take it directly on, but deflect and maybe counter. But in a lot of these cases, we're dealing with deflect and not warfare, but grounding the attack to the center of the earth. Allowing things to bounce off of us, and even in some cases backward to the attacker, allowing them to feel their own pain. Okay, you threw this at me, it's literally going to bounce back and go directly at you and cause some sort of explosion. That's just the physics of things. You know, you throw this at me, it's going to hit my force, and it's going to bounce back at that which is hitting me. And again, maintaining positive morality is key, because when you dabble in psychic warfare, if you challenge the Eye of Sauron, you know, if you generally pledge yourself to be against the evil of this world, as a soldier of light, if you will, the very kinks in your armor will be exploited, where those kinks can be exploited, where they can be seen, where they can be targeted. So maintaining good health, maintaining positive morality, maintaining positive diet, maintaining a strong connection to your breath, which is directly tied into your magnetic field, and bringing that up. All these things are very, very important. You know, I think this really concludes this follow-up part 2. Think about meditation, connecting with your breath, connecting with your field, grounding, and clearing out your head. Are your thoughts your own? And understanding that this is a process. And I, like you, we have to walk through this fire of life. As we awaken more and more, we're going to face more and more backlash. As we awaken more and more of humanity, of ourselves, others, we're going to face more of that backlash. This is not a negative sign. This is a positive sign in some regards. And nothing is permanent. This is the current experience that we're having. There are other experiences that we're going to evolve to. There's other tasks for us to fulfill. But there's a time and a place for everything. Every lesson, every chapter that we read in this book of life. And this conversation will continue.